Time for the LinkedIn lunch break, where we kind of talk shit, or we just talk about people's LinkedIn posts and maybe make fun of them sometimes. Okie dokie. Let's see what we got. Employees don't ask for more for home because they want to relax. They have a bunch of stuff that they want to take care of, or aging parents or kids growing up, hours in traffic. Nobody wants to do hours in traffic. Yeah, I mean, I don't think companies are really doing strict in-office things because it's better for the company. I think partly large corporations are doing it because they need to ensure that their balance sheet, when it comes to like their office space rentals and real estate and people that have large ownership in that company that you're working at, they generally own a bunch of real estate around the company or own the real estate that the company operates in. And then you have all of the businesses that they might own or have an interest in succeeding that are around the office that specifically can cater to those places, such as like Sweetgreens and like any salad place, any coffee place around the office that caters to those office workers. There's a lot to it. It's not just because they just want you to be in the office. It's a big money thing. And then also when it comes to startups that are funded by VCs only make money when the startup spends money. And so if the startup doesn't have to spend money on the office, then the VC doesn't get paid. And then that's a problem for them, the VC like rep or whatever. So it's all a money thing. It really has not a lot to do with how effective you are or your happiness really, or your tenure. It's all money. So that's why if you want to choose to work for a large corporation or you want to choose to work for a startup, then you just kind of have to like deal with it in a way or make your own. And that's kind of like, that is my major goal. That's what I really want to do. I really want to create businesses that empower people to be able to live the way they want to and still be able to work. Because I don't think it's for everybody to start businesses. I don't think it's good for everybody to start businesses because people don't have the skill sets to do so or the inclination to do so. And I don't think they should have to. I think it rests on the shoulders of people that do have those skill sets, that do want to take that sacrifice to be able to create those places for people to work for and be able to have those kinds of lifestyles. So if you do have the skill sets and the inclination and the ability to take the risk to create a business, I think it's a really good thing to create businesses that are that really help with the work from home thing and really allow people to live the way they want to and still be able to effectively contribute to the job, because we can't really rely on VC backed startups or large corporations to free people from office awfulness. See, like here, front end developer for NVIDIA, that job sounds hella tight, but like I know for a fact, based on how much money that NVIDIA has spent on their off, well, I'm thinking, yeah, I know just how much, I mean, just based on how much money NVIDIA has spent on their offices and all the money that's behind that, all the money that, like how big their office is, all the money that caters to the people in that office, for sure they're going to require you to go in that office. Nothing drains a high performer faster than realizing the reward for excellence is cleaning up someone else's incompetence. Hmm. So I think I agree to this extent when in regards to like software development, because I disagree with it when it comes to leadership roles, because your job as a leader or a manager is to develop people. And so yes, if you're a high performer and you get into a leadership role, your reward will be for handling somebody else's incompetence, because by definition, if they're lower than you, or if they're your subordinate, they have less competence than you. And it is your job to train them up in competence, but you're getting paid to do so. When it comes to incompetence by choice, meaning other people are too lazy to or unwilling to improve, and you decide to keep this person, and the high performer, you basically just say, well, this high performer will take care of whatever this person screws up. That's really going to not work, especially in like in a startup situation. People, it's really important to have a team or a team culture where it's people are wanting to improve and they're willing to learn, they're willing to take criticism, because I haven't been able to I've been able to improve massively by taking good criticism and continue to get better. And if you have like a culture where nobody cares and it's just kind of whatever, then nobody's going to the high performers just aren't going to do that work. They're going to do just the bare minimum to get by and probably look for something else. And I see that in code bases where it's so obvious that nobody really on the team really cares about readability or effectiveness, or it's like maybe a couple of people do and it's not really a big part of the culture, and you end up having to spend a ton of time. You just see this huge pile of work to actually make it a really good product code wise, and I'm just like, I'm not doing that. No. That is a good looking woman. Career advice for ambitious people: the way you handle small tasks predicts how you'll handle big opportunities. People are always watching. Make everything better. Everything you touch better than you found it. In regards to building code, I think I think it really kind of I think this is a really good practice to have, but it's really important to notice what the reaction is. So if you spend a good deal of time doing some refactoring or implementing a new system or making really good suggestions, and they kind of keep getting shot down or not implemented, or nobody else kind of is along with you, that nobody else is willing to put in the kind of work that you are to make it really high quality. For instance, let's say you're say you have like you find a component that's a really big mess and you clean it up because you had to work on it, you do some refactoring, you clean it up, all this stuff, and then you view a PR from somebody else where you're like, this is not very good, this is a mess, and then you kind of like, everybody else on the PR is just like, this is fine, or your manager's like, this is fine, and you're just like, I'm spending all this time when I'm doing stuff to make things really good, and this standard is not being applied anywhere else on a consistent basis. Then it's like, maybe I need to rethink where I'm actually putting this effort. Like maybe I really do kind of what is required at this job because it's not really being valued. And then I start using that energy in other areas or in like consulting areas or my own projects, things like that. Or I look for a different place where people are aligned with a culture of excellence and doing things properly or improving and those kinds of things. And so I think this is a really good way to go, but it really is important to pay attention to how it is received in the context in which you do these things. If it's who cares, and that's nice, good for you. We're not going to make ourselves better based on the example that you're leading with, or based on the example you're setting. We're not going to make changes for anybody else or the way we do things. Then maybe we look elsewhere for how we actually, maybe we just follow. If people don't want to lead, like if people don't want to grow from the example that you're setting in regards to excellence and the way you do things, then maybe we look for somewhere else. Otherwise, I think this is really good. And in your own stuff, I think this is really important when you are building something new and you're creating a culture for your business, your applications and stuff, that you create that we're all trying to get better sort of thing. And, really, I think it's really important for managers and owners to pay attention to. I think it's almost less important not less. I think it's almost more important for managers to be able to pay attention to ambitious people and how they are operating. Are they consistently getting better? Are they doing things better than other people? Is there a culture of, if this person is really showing high quality things, are we empowering them to lead by example? And do we have a culture of, if this person is doing something really good and we can see really great stuff out of them, are we empowering them to teach other people to also reflect that level of quality? Because the important thing to remember is working harder and going above and beyond are really good things to do, and they will lead to success. Where you work better and where you go above and beyond is even more important, because not every company, not every client is going to really care. And you're not going to get anything back from it. Check this out. Software engineer for exciting early stage startup. Ambiguous problems, moving quickly, building intuitive products. Front end, both front and back end, and back end. Real ownership and impact. This is a red flag posting for an engineer. What this says to me is that they don't really know what they want or need. They want to pay very little for a really high level of skills, and it's a huge risk. They don't seem to understand the level of risk they're taking, or that the potential candidate is taking by taking on this job, and it's on site. So I guess I'm a little shocked by these kinds of postings, because they are wanting to hire somebody that can basically be ambiguous problems. That means you're a team lead, or that is a senior or potentially even a principal level. If associate engineers, you give them problems and they solve it. Senior to principal engineers, that's where you don't know the problem and they're actually kind of working as a consultant, moving quickly. That means you're going to be working probably 60 hours a week. building intuitive products, that means you're going to have to be on the line with designers, with stakeholders. You're kind of like, you're managing the product. You're kind of building intuitive products. That doesn't mean that you're building good things. That means you are basically working as an engineer and as a project manager on any feature that you build, because you're in meetings, you're working with different stakeholders, designers, and you're taking user feedback, and you're working through discovery. So you're working at a principal and senior level. You're doing more than just an engineering job. You're doing a PM and engineering job. You're having to do full stack work with an emphasis on front end, and you have to be in Seattle and you have to go in the office every day. So I say be really cautious with postings like this. If you are pretty much just starting, or you're maybe trying to get your foot in the door in the industry there or something like that, or maybe you just really need a job, maybe go for it, just try it out. But I'm telling you, this is a senior principal level position with, GraphQL, that could be, it's full stack with front end focus. So that's not too bad, but this is quite a hefty ask. Unless they're paying like for Seattle, unless they're paying, I would say maybe close to 400K total comp, I wouldn't do this job. Maybe because you have to think. So I live in Austin, and that's like, it's a little bit more expensive. So I say maybe a really good comp here is probably like 185 over 200 for most regular cities. And this one's a little bit more expensive, so a little over 200 is appropriate for this level, for this kind of position. Maybe like 185 to 195 is pretty appropriate for this position. But for Seattle, you pretty much have to double it. So I don't know. That's a nearly, if you're getting almost 400K for this, especially at a startup. So it's like startup prices, like around 400K total comp. This would be good, but otherwise, man, I just don't really see the value in this. This is probably around my level of competency. I could absolutely kill it in this job, but I would never ever apply for this job. Unless potentially it was remote. The on-site thing, like if they were paying, I can live in Austin and live at, like, pay Austin prices, and I could do this job for maybe like 195, maybe like 250, like around 250 total comp. Base comp. So 200 to 250 base comp. Because this is a startup, you have to really overcharge on a startup because of the amount of risk you're taking. You're taking a huge amount of risk to work for a especially early stage tech startup. So 2 to 250 would be pretty good. I could live in Austin. I would do this job. But the on-site thing, that's ridiculous. On-site for a early stage tech startup, that's bananas. Like, why would anybody do this that has the skill, that actually has the competency to do this well? Because like GraphQL, like I could probably learn GraphQL in a week or two. I could learn enough to know what I need to do with it, and I'm highly competent in these areas. But there is no way that I would ever consider going to Seattle to, like, moving or any of this stuff for an early stage tech startup, especially Seattle. There's got to be a lot of competition for competent engineers. Like, I don't really get that. I don't really understand why a competent engineer at this level that's basically doing the many hats thing would go for this job, unless if it was on site. That's bananas to me. This was a great event. this like super long. 20 minutes.
I'm Lee, and I'm on the Cursor team, and I'm going to talk about how building software has evolved. So thanks for being here. We started with punch cards and terminals back in the 60s, where programming was this new superpower, but it was inaccessible to most people. And then in the 70s, programmers grew up writing BASIC on their Apple IIs and their Commodore 64s. Then in the 80s, GUIs started to get mainstream,
This is
but
stupid. Why in the world? Yeah, I'm already over it. Maybe I'm just like Gen Z or something, but I'm actually a millennial, but I guess I think like a Gen Z. All right, let's go to X. If you want AWS to finally click focus on this, how apps run, EC2, where data lives, who can access what. This is actually incredibly helpful. Shout out your cloud, dude. That's the thing with Amazon services. There is so much, and it is pretty, yeah, it isn't about memorizing 200 services. Mastering the few that run almost everything. Build clarity and build products. This is super, super helpful. I'm actually going to probably save this. Add to my bookmarks because I've been wanting to learn AWS, but it is really daunting due to like just how much stuff there is and how in depth it is, and I don't really know what to study. But this is super helpful so that I could actually know how to use it. I think it's going to be really important for I think due to AI kind of taking over a lot of the tedious work when it comes to coding and being able to set up really good configurations so you can control what its output is. I think it's going to become a lot more important for engineers to be able to do everything. I think front end specialization and API specialization and database specialization are going to start to disappear in a lot of smaller areas when it comes to like maybe small to mid-sized companies. I think that's going to really disappear, and really only when you have the most complex use cases and really high level, like large companies, are those specializations going to really exist. But I think the opportunity is going to come when you can kind of be a jack of all trades and know how to have a pretty good understanding of how things like AWS works and be able to jump into an AWS problem and then jump into a Next.js problem, and then jump into design meetings and stuff like that, and then be able to jump into an API problem. I think that's going to be incredibly important moving forward. So this kind of stuff is extremely valuable so that we know what exactly to learn. So we're not there's an endless things amount to learn. So it's really easy to just get kind of caught up in like learning something just for the sake of it, and you don't really know how this is going to be applied. Knowing how this technology is going to be applied and why you're learning it, and having a very specific reason to learn it, is what kind of gets you through all the mundane stuff. Yeah, right. I haven't worked in PHP, but I've seen PHP code. It's what my dad used to code in. He was like a PHP whiz. I would just never touch it. I think there's probably reasons to use it, but I gotta tell you, JavaScript or TypeScript rather is just so good at doing just about anything at this point. I just don't really see a good reason except maybe using um like really good frameworks. Like I understand why somebody would use Ruby because Rails is such a good framework. I understand why somebody would use Java because Spring Boot is a really good framework when working with SQL databases. But when it comes to most things, like I just don't understand why somebody wouldn't use TypeScript for stuff because it's just you can use it for you can use it for front end stuff, you can use it for server side stuff, you can use it for APIs. It's just so flexible. Um, I think if you're building, I guess with legacy systems, maybe I don't know. I'd be interested if anybody has a really good reason when it comes to like a new company or new project to not use TypeScript. In other than framework specific nice to haves, or just experience and comfort. The only language with the widest range of real world use cases. Yeah, I mean, JavaScript is like, it is really flexible, but I think you need to use TypeScript because it's just a lot more secure. I think it's a lot safer. I think JavaScript is incredibly unsafe, but TypeScript it solves just about all that. All these technologies are free: laptop plus internet, career starter pack, daily 1 hour. There's a lot of truth to this. There is true and untrue at the same time. There's a couple of things. It's a little bit oversimplified. I got started in my career because I decided that I initially set out to build a VR app that I had an idea for, and then I realized how much it's going to take to actually learn how to do it well. And I was probably going to be about 5 years before I actually got into a real job. So I switched to web dev and I built a portfolio project, and I just applied like crazy with the portfolio project, and I got my big break with VMware. I didn't last that long there, but because I wasn't competent enough. But I did get my start by just kind of going on and learning. And there's a lot of resources to be able to learn these things. It is also untrue because I tell you, doing internships and getting your foot in the door, it really is a lot about relationships when it comes to the actual career aspect. Being at the right place at the right time. I was in Austin. They needed butts and seats for VMware. And so I was at the right place at the right time to kind of get started and get that on my resume. And that really helped me move forward in my career. So, yes, these things are free. What isn't free is the networking and going and creating the relationships in the industry to actually get work. And that's going to require unpaid labor. Maybe I got a lot of experience by doing consulting projects. So trying to market yourself as a consultant or like build things for people, maybe for free or for very little. And so that's where the actual career happens. The skill sets, they're all free and just take time. But the career, you got to spend money on meeting people and creating relationships. And just especially with the AI job, like the AI, all the AI job submissions that are happening, it's going to be a lot less. People are going to have a much harder time than I did getting their first job by applying online. You're going to have to go to events and stuff like that. And ideally, probably go to paid events to meet the real people you need to meet. Oh, and one more thing I'll say about this one. People want to see, especially if you're starting out, that you're here to solve problems, not just to show off your list of skills. So if you can create a portfolio project that addresses a real problem that people have and solves it, even if it's something free, something open source, or if you contribute to open source projects, that is enormous. So if you can learn all these things and get competent in these things and contribute to open source projects that need your help, or actually go and find problems that people are having and solve them with software, and then you can show that to um, potential companies that are hiring, that's what will really launch the career. They have videos on here. They should, right? It's kind of interesting how to see a lot of videos in here. That's funny. It's like how they call rocket explosions rapid, unscheduled. What is it? Um, uh, what what does SpaceX call rocket explosions? Rapid, unscheduled disassembly. It's like how they call rocket explosions rapid, unscheduled disassembly. This is a rapid, unscheduled RAM installation. Ouch. Okay. That's all we got for today, probably. On to the code. All right. So I'm going to need to go through this here.
Project. And we're going to create that as a new node project. Then we're going to install the Zoom RTMS SDK.
Okay, I need to do that. npm I at Zoom. What is it? RTMS. Okay.
What the SDK is going to do for us is handle those incoming webhook events and connect to media streams on our behalf, making the access to transcripts really simple. So let's open this up. When we open this up, you'll see we have a package.json file. This is our boilerplate from that Node app. We're going to want we're going to want this to be a module to use ES modules. And then we're also going to want a new start script.
This is already set up.
File
I've got
and what
the
we have
base
now
Zoom app.
Is a start script that loads in our environment variable at ZM client. Actually, it's ZM RTMS client equals and ZM RTMS
That's using the same
secret
stuff
equals
that I already have for the other basic
And we're also
stuff.
going to add in our client. Pop this in. Is import RTMS from at Zoom RTMS.
Okay.
Then what we're going to run is that RTMS SDK's event handler. So RTMS on webhook event is going to give us a payload from the webhook. So we're going to say payload here. This payload is going to contain the signaling and the media servers that our app is going to connect to. So let's do this as a function here to join rtms.join the data in that payload here.
Okay, I'll just do that for now. The Zoom API stuff here. I guess it would make sense for me to put it here, right? I think so. So I'm gonna go export function retrieve transcript. So we'll do RTMS import dot on webhook event payload. Oops. And then let's see. RTMS.join payload. Why is this complaining? How would that be a problem? Oh. I can't do inline functions here, I guess. Oh, that's fine. Oh, because I'm a dork. Okay, it should be const, but I'm gonna keep with what is already there and just do regular functions. RTMS.join payload, and then let's see what else he does.
Cool. And when that RTMS session is joined, we're going to want to handle the transcript data that comes in. And so if we do RTMS/on, we'll see that we have on audio data, on video data, but what we want is on transcript data. And that data is going to give us data, size of the packets, timestamps for that data, and metadata from the user.
Okay, we'll do, hold up. I gotta change this to TypeScript at some point. But RTMS on transcript data, data size, timescript metadata. Okay. So RTMS dot on transcript data. Are we grabbing the payload first? Hold on. Oh, okay. No, it's, yeah, kinda. So we're destructuring the payload here. Data size, timestamps, metadata. Data size, timestamps, metadata. Oops, didn't want to do that. Is it timestamps or stamp? It's stamps. Okay.
And meeting in the meeting and the users in the meeting. All we're going to do here is actually just console log our transcripts. So let's do there and take this back. Cool. So all we're going to do is we're going to console log the, what is it called? The metadata. Sorry. So metadata dot user name and data. Perfect.
Okay. So here we'll console that, log that. console.log. What is he doing? Metadata.username and data. So metadata.username, and then data like this. Yeah, just like that.
And this is going to send that transcript to our server when it's ready.
Okay, so that should be good right there. So the interesting thing about this is I kind of don't know where to use this. So let's see. This is using the route here. Get deep link. This is the auth route. Fetch deep link, access token, session. Okay, so this is running here. Let's watch the rest of it.
This is all we need. So if we run back into our terminal, we'll run the app with that start script we created. And this is going to open up a listening event for our port on 8080.
Let's look at that start script again. Okay, so it's just running index.js. And index.js only has this. So in that case, when this is running, we basically just want to call it. Retrieve transcript like that.
Zoom webhooks need to deliver to an HTTPS.
So I probably need to restart this tunnel. I have the URL here. Let's see if this tunnel is working right now, because I didn't start this, or this is from yesterday. I haven't worked it. Yeah, see, the tunnel's not running, so I'm going to have to restart the tunnel and reset the configurations because it's the free version. Okay, so tunnel is restarted. We need to get the HTTPS URL here. We'll update here. Okay, like that. And then I need to go into my app marketplace, probably refresh to make sure that I'm actually got signed in. I'm not. Vortex Media Consulting. Okay, signed in, develop. We'll just go to manage, general app. Okay, so now we need to update our URLs in here. Right here. And then right here. This is annoying, but we're just kind of getting things set up, and I'm okay using the free version for now, just until I can see that I can actually make this app work. And then I'll I'll pay for it once the app actually works. Okay, so that should be good.
Endpoint, which our local server is not. So for this, we're going to use something like ngrok. In your terminal, run ngrok http 8080, your Zoom app here. And under your event subscription, make sure this destination is added here.
Okay, so I need to go into event subscription. That's access. Event subscription, we'll turn that on. Webhook, subscription name, RTMS. Does he have any events? What's his events? Okay.
Here as your event notification endpoint URL. Otherwise, we should be all set.
Okay, I don't know if he did that already. I think he did over here.
I've already created this app. I've created an app and called it RTMS Quick Start. And I've added an event subscription here and with the right events for start.
Okay, so RTMS, we'll just type in RTMS, add events, RTMS started and stopped, done. Event notification endpoint URL. Okay, so now I'll go back here. And that is his funnel URL. So I'll put that here. And do we have any auth header options set? No. Okay, we'll save this. It is webhook, right? Yeah. Sick. Save. All right, we have our event subscription set here.
As your event notification endpoint URL. Otherwise, we should be all set. You'll notice here that the app is now.
Okay, so I'm gonna actually, I want to see, okay, first, let's visit this URL here, see that everything's working. Error with RTMS here. Put a null check here. Okay, hold on. Getting a good error. Index of function.getFileName. Let's not do this for the moment. We won't run this for the moment here, just to make sure that our app is actually up and working. That's interesting. Why in the world would that be happening? Let's restart this development server here. Index of bindings. That's weird. This is really odd. Maybe because RTMS would have already been installed and I overrode it with a newer installation on accident. Interesting. Those look like types. Or maybe events or something. This is weird. I don't know why this is happening. I'm not calling it at all. Oh, well. I changed that. Let's try this. Do I have... What was the command for running Zoom? I think it's just @Zoom. npm i @Zoom. Or maybe it was @Zoom SDK. Hold on. Basic information. No, wait, hold on. Documentation. SDK references. JS SDK. npm install @Zoom SDK. That breaks stuff. Let's uninstall. I probably should have done this first, but we'll go ahead and uninstall RTMS. npm uninstall @Zoom RTMS. Uninstall this. Comment here. Okay, let's see. I just need to see that the app works. I'm gonna do a hot refresh just to see that we're actually getting some stuff. Just like checks. Does this update? Let's refresh app. Okay, that doesn't work. So hold on. We'll go into our browser here. We'll install. Allow. Open Zoom. Server-side checks. There we go. All right. So our app runs in Zoom. You got that figured out. And then so let's figure out what's going on with this error. So Zoom RTMS. So let's try, I'm interested. So let's try reinstalling RTMS, npm i @Zoom RTMS, and see if we get the error right after install without calling it. Okay. No issue here. Oops. Let's refresh. Oops. Oh, I redirected, so hold on. Oops. Let's refresh the app here. App is working. Let's go to the URL. It's on a URL. Tunnel's working. Everything's working. Without calling the actual thing, it's working. So now we're going to uncomment import of the RTMS. And then here, we're going to uncomment this, but we're going to comment out the actual calling of it. Just to see? So importing it at all is causing it to error. So we have to figure out why that's happening. If I comment it out and don't import it, everything works. If I import it here, it breaks. So here we do Zoom RTMS import. That's not right. Zoom meeting SDK error. Nope. Let's try cloud. Come on, man. I hate pop-ups. Just importing RTMS from Zoom into my project after install gives me this error. Interesting. So this is not really matching up with what he's got going on. So let's check the let's check the documentation here. Docs. See if maybe in the APIs. Webhooks. So we can find RTMS here. Right here, RTMS. I seem to have errors shown. Let's go back to the docs, see if we can find something here. SDK reference. Okay, here we go. Getting started with RTMS. Automatically from a Zoom app, using start RTMS from the Zoom Apps SDK. Okay, hold on. Let's check this. General app, start and stop, scopes for the media you want to access, and scopes for SFPI. Subscribe, already did that. We did that. Add scopes. Navigation page, use scopes. Here. RTMS, it's already set there. If you want to get the audio data, RTMS scopes are unable to be marked as optional if your app only requires audio. Only select the. Likewise, if your app only requires transcripts, only select the meeting read meeting transcript. Let's see. That's let's say meeting read meeting audio meeting read meeting audio. There we go. And the meeting transcript. Let's just do both, just for the time being. Okay. Okay, no, it's already. It's because I was just searching that. All right, we got the scope set, so that's good. In an e-meeting app, you can use the JS SDK APIs to start and stop RTMS session. Launching RTMS with an e-meeting button automatically when the user opens the app. Surface. I think I already did this. Select where to use your app section. Select where to use app meetings. Yep, that's set. In the in-client app features section, turn on Zoom App SDK. Yep, that's on. Add APIs. Search for RTMS. I already did that. Right? Oh, yeah. I think RTMS. Oh, nope. Gonna need to do these. Start RTMS. Okay. That's done. It's gonna also be based on update session versus session. Okay, here we go. I wonder if we do, because it said that I can do it from the other SDK that I have. If your app is an e-meeting app, you can use to stop and start. So JS SDK APIs. So I already have, okay. So Zoom SDK.start RTMS. I think I already have, I should already have the Zoom SDK here. I have the Zoom SDK here. Might have to update that. I don't know. So start an RTMS, stop, pause. Guess I'm a little confused. Let's see what this response is. Give me the data. Status change event doesn't give the actual transcript data. It transcripts. Environment variables. Okay. I have to actually. This is interesting. I need to make a route here for the start and stop. So here we're gonna do app webhooks, webhooks, new folder, RTMS, and the RTMS will do route.js. Oops. And then I'm going to use AI for this. So from this node route, make me a next.js route. So I don't have to do it myself, because that's lame. Nice. Okay, so I can copy this. Take that. That's odd. Oh, because it's TypeScript away. I will change it to TypeScript later, but I just want to get this working first. Yeah, I know that. Okay. So here we get the body, event, payload, Okay. So we have the route set for the webhook receiver. Okay. We have a route. Create a signature generator. Generate signature for signaling the WebSocket connection. Okay, so I think we could take this. Generate signature. I think we could put it here in the Zoom API because we are using crypto here. Are we already making one? Oh, it's an install URL. So we'll create a signature here. Export, oops, export functions, get generate signature. Why is this 4 spaces? Gross. All right. Oh, let's format. Format doc. Okay. Cool. We got that. Next, we'll use the signature and size connect to signaling WebSocket to establish the signaling connection. Add the following into index.js. Connect to single WebSocket. I think we just do that here. This is annoying. Format. Okay. We want that, it's in the index, we want it to be okay. So in the root, we're generating the signature in the root. Oh, no, we're not. That's just a function. It's just that the server's up. We have these functions defined. Connect to beta WebSocket. Connect to 2 mediums. Signaling WebSocket. Okay, so hold on. So we want to put these actually in our Zoom APIs directory or file. I don't want it here. This is just for the client stuff. We want it to be in our API methods here. already have that one. All right, so these are our API methods that we want to be able to use. We need to export them. Is there only two? I thought there was more than two. 1, 2. Well, it's because I copied. I already had generate signature. So these are our actual methods that we're using. And then in the webhook, we want to use the connect to signaling WebSocket. So in this route, this webhook route here, that's not even defined. That's not even throwing an error that it's not defined. That's not good. Okay, import that. So it's connecting to signaling WebSocket here. It's generating the signature here. And then connecting to the media socket here. So we actually don't need to export connect to media socket here. Keep it private. Okay. So that's set up. We have it set up like it said it should be. We have our webhook route set up. Now, the thing that I'm not sure about is, so it just says to run the index.js for it to work. So if we were to just do it in Node here, it would do its config, it would instantiate these things, it would use that, it would grab the root, and then these, we have to set a post event. That's interesting. Hold on. Let's look at the sample apps. Do they have a Next.js sample app? Transcripts. Send meeting transcripts to Claude for summarization. That's pretty much exactly what I'm trying to do. There's a Node app. Connect to socket. Yeah, we got all that. It's not actually doing it though, which is odd. Create RTMS client on local tunnel. Okay, so here you're actually creating the client. So I guess that's the deep link. I gotta pee. I'll be right back. I'm so effing hungry right now. Let's ask Cloud. How do I use this Node.js code in my Next.js project? I wonder how can I do this using the Zoom SDK on Next.js instead. It's kind of tight that I can search the web like that. Very, very helpful. Okay, so let's copy this. RTMS manager.js. Put that in here. Oh, that's because this is all TypeScript. Just keep it JavaScript for now. change the next.js RTMS integration into a .js file. We got the manager class running. I'll have to figure out how to do this with the patterns that I want to use, but I already have that. Something tells me this is just all wrong. I just don't really understand this very well. Updated webhook route. Oh, okay, so it's just replacing this whole entire webhook route then. It's alright, we'll do customizations when I can actually get this to work. So now that I have the route set and the class set, how do I call this in my Zoom Next.js client app? Hey, Anton. How are you doing today, Anton? Just building a Zoom app. Let me know if you have any software questions. You don't call it. Webhook URL. So where do I set that? Scopes. Where do I set the, is it here? Endpoint URL, yep, right here. Okay, so endpoint URL would be webhooks slash RTMS slash webhooks RTMS. Okay. So Zoom would actually call it. Where's my webhook token? Secret token. Okay, so here in my env, I would set so Zoom. Oops. Zoom web. What the hell? Zoom webhook token equals that. Okay. I think it probably would have given me that in the generator code, is my guess. I guess it did not. Hold on. Oh, Zoom webhook secret token. Is that what it put? No. So that's required. Add webhook validation. Oh, right here. Oh, right here. Oh, okay. So this is the. Okay, so we'll copy here. Just replace this route here. Zoom webhook secret token here. Update the env file. Oops. Crap. Just add secret. Zoom webhook secret token. Okay. And then it should be coming. I set it to look for this. So I guess I wonder. Let's refresh the app. It's refreshed. So I wonder if I start a meeting now. Meet with video. Start. Okay. So, shoot. I have this meeting going. Can I see anything in my console? I don't see anything. It's not showing the event starting either. I'm gonna have to re-download the app. Might need to do that. So let's actually go to here. We'll install it. Allow. Open Zoom. Okay, now it's using it. Now we'll meet with video here. We have the Zoom meeting going. I'm not getting any. Oh yeah, I'm getting audio here, so that's good. Let's see if my console says anything. Console's not getting anything. Zoom app configuration is null. It's weird. I'm very confused right now. I'm gonna end this. Let's see the settings here. Not getting anything. Is that the right URL? Yeah, it should be. Let's see if it's even being hit. So console.log endpoint hit. Create a meeting. Okay, meeting is running, audio is running. Nothing in here. Does not seem to be hitting the endpoint. The servers, I mean, the app is up. Not getting anything. Alright, I'm gonna take a break and we'll come back to this later. Gotta go do other work. Peace. I was not recording landscape. Fuck.